Nicodemo, Lil Nicky Scarfo, has lived in many different areas within the United States, especially along the East Coast. He is very infamous for being the rising mob boss who eventually took over the reins of the Philadelphia's crime family in the year of 1981 to 1990. He infamously gained a reputation for also owning properties along the famous boarding house along the side of this. Here's his residence that originally belonged to his mother from 26th and 28th North Georgia Avenue. Then he had a property called Casablanca South in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, once he was in the big leagues of Cosa Nostra as boss of the family. Many people don't know that Nicky Scarfo's house in Philadelphia still exists to this day and is also one of the homes that still survives since he passed in the year of 2017. Let's take you back to the origins of little Nicky Scarfo. As you can see in this Wikipedia page, here's the early life of Nicky Scarfo, and of course you can see this across many different sources besides Wikipedia. Nicky Scarfo was born on March 8, 1929 in Brooklyn, New York, to Philip and Catherine Scarfo, Italian immigrants from Naples and Calabria. At the age of 12, Scarfo and his family moved to South Philadelphia, where he worked as a day laborer and later graduated from Benjamin Franklin High School in 1947. He became an amateur boxer, fighting in small clubs throughout Philadelphia, earning himself a reputation for his aggressive temper in the ring. After failing to become a success in the boxing world, Scarfo joined his uncle, Nicky Buck, a Philly mob soldier, in illegal activities in Philadelphia. He also worked as a bartender at a club owned by his uncle while being an apprentice by Buck alongside his two other uncles. So let's explain this little article from the Wikipedia page. While they do have that Nicky Scarfo had moved to Philadelphia at the age of 12, that would be the year of 1941 if he was 12 years old and he was born in 1929. However, we actually found an article that proves that he was living in Philadelphia a little bit much earlier, especially based on the United States federal census. Now, it is true Nicky Scarfo was born to Italian immigrants from Calabria and Naples. His father, Philip Scarfo, actually has a census that dates back in 1940, a year earlier before 1941. Phil Scarfo was 37 years old, the head of the household at the time, which is very common for many males of that era. But in 1940, he's listed as 37. His wife, Nicky's mother, Catherine Scarfo, was listed at the age of 30. Nicky Scarfo at the age of 11. And Nancy Scarfo at the age of 9. Now, during this time, especially during the early 1940s and 1950s, many Italian immigrants, when they moved along the United States, along with many other European immigrants, many of them would have to change their name to many more English or westernized names to assimilate and integrate in the United States culture. So, for example, instead of Nicodemo Scarfo, Nicky Scarfo will be known as Nicholas Scarfo. Catherine Scarfo, who was already born within the United States, however, their daughter, Annunziata Scarfo, will be changed to Nancy Scarfo, just as Nicky Scarfo comes from the name of Nicodemo. We also have a 1950 United States federal census for Nancy Scarfo, and you can see how their occupations change as a decade later. Philip Scarfo was still the head of the household, and he still worked along as a shoreman. The matriarch, Catherine Scarfo, was the housewife. And it shows that she did not work under any specific positions. However, Philip Scarfo is listed as a laborer. Nicholas Scarfo, who we know to be as Little Nicky, as you can see, was listed differently because Catherine Scarfo was born in Pennsylvania, so she was already integrated to the United States culture, whereas though Nicky's father was directly from Italy. And Nancy Scarfo, who was a few years younger than Nicky Scarfo is listed at the age of 21. She is listed at the age of 19. Both of them were born in New York, and she will work as a chief secretary. She worked for at least 40 hours, just as her father did. She'll work alongside the hotel. We don't know what specific hotel region that was, but it's also similar to how Philip Scarfo, when he once lived in New York and New Jersey, he would work for certain hotels along the ocean shore. However, Nicky Scarfo does not have an occupation listed at the age of 21. Could it also be due to the rumors and allegations that's been brought against him since he was young that he worked along his uncles, who was on his maternal side? Philip Scarfo was not tied to any organized crime whatsoever. There has never been no evidence or any conclusive ones in that matter. However, Nicky Scarfo has been reported to have resentment towards his father, especially coming from his nephew, Crazy Philip Leonetti, who will one day be the future underboss in the Philadelphia organized crime. He stated in his book Mafia Prince that Nicky Scarfo resented his father because he had no ties to organized crime, and he thinks if you worked a normal job, you were considered a jerk-off or just a no-good person. However, on Nicky Scarfo's maternal side, also known as the mother's side, his uncles, along with Mikey Buck, Nicky Buck, and Tony Buck, also known as the Piccolo brothers, had ties to criminal organizations. They will all move and do business activities alongside the tri-state area, which are tied to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York. And this will also be the rise tide of Nicky Scarfo's criminal activities. He will also meet his mentor, Felix Skinny Razor DiTullio. He will also meet other different rising stars of the criminal underworld. It all started right here in the center of Philadelphia, and many people don't know that the property that Nicky Scarfo resided during the times of when he started his old criminal activity started along this address, in which we will show you from the 1940 census, and you could also see is the same address. The 1950 census is listed on 744 Warnock Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is not too far from the Philadelphia Italian Market neighborhood. In fact, it's just a few blocks from the whole market region. The zip code is specifically 19147. In fact, we could also show you how it does look in the Nicky Scarfo era during that time. As you can see, Nicky Scarfo is dressed as a gangster suit during this time. He loved to dress he was very concerned about his image, and he loved the gangster movie genre. He also loved the actor Paul Mooney, which was one of his favorite actors starring in the original Scarface film. Not to be mistaken, the one that stars Al Pacino. You could also hear this confirmation here from Crazy Phil Leonetti himself on Patrick Bet-David's episode with him listed here.
Paul Mooney.
Was that his inspiration?
That's it. That's the man.
That's his hero? That's the guy he wanted to be?
That's the guy he was. Yeah.
Out in the public, make an example.
That's it. Just keep killing. You got to keep killing. Got to do this, he says, and you got to keep doing it. Okay.
Here's a photo of Nicky Scarfo dressed as the people that he idolized in front of this property, as you can see at Warnock Street during this era. And now we will show you what the property looks like today. As of course you know, this is definitely in the year of 2024. This is an exclusive video coming from our own productions. So we want to make sure that we keep the property because sometimes our footage has been reduplicated without our authorizations. If anyone wants the watermark to be removed, they can have our consent. Just make sure they email us at the appropriate email address, and we can also notify any grants or changes. And there you have it. This is one of the only surviving homes of Nicky Scarfo when he lived in Philadelphia. We showed you the proof that he lived here during the 1940s and 50s based on the Census Bureau. We also showed you from Philip Leonetti's Mafia Prince that this was the property that he once lived in Philadelphia, of him posing as gangsters and then he one day become one, and all the other properties that Nicky Scarfo has lived outside of Philadelphia. That includes his Atlantic City property and the home in Fort Lauderdale. You could check those videos, or you could also watch the compilation of the videos of all the properties that we have of Nicky Scarfo. If you have any suggestions on any other homes of any other Kosher Nostra member, or for any properties that we have missed out, please let us know in the comments below, and we'd like to hear your feedback. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and check out more of our content. Feel free to give your feedback and suggestions on what we should do next in the comments. This is Infinite Lee Productions. We love ya.